because you want to strike while the iron's hot, and if you
do, like, you have to. Kevin Hart said this. He was like, if this is your moment, you have to maximize your moment, your opportunity. And he was talking about life as a whole. Like, your life is an opportunity, maximize it. And I agree with that wholeheartedly. Like, strike while the iron's hot. But at the same time, I also heard this story from another rapper. Sorry, Kevin Hart's not a rapper, but from a rapper, and he was talking about how, I'll make it really quick, but they were talking about how it's a fictional, it's like a fable almost, like a story with a meaning. Anyway, I said I'd make it quick.
you really made it longer.
That was such a flop. But anyway, so he was talking about how
I can't believe what just happened. I actually can't believe it. I actually can't believe it. Anyway.
You never said a fable, that word in years, and now when
Fable.
time was ticking, it's like, let me bring it up.
And then you tried to explain what a fable was, which was crazy, yeah.
Anyway, so this story, right?
Mm.
So these artists, they created, like, they sculpted this piece for this show, and it was the most beautiful piece of art they'd ever made.
Yeah.
And they were like, everyone's gonna love this, man. Everyone's gonna really appreciate it, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Got to the show, no one really appreciated it, like people were walking past. One person liked it, and that one person was like, wow, this is amazing, how much is it? Like, I wanna buy this. And they were so disheartened, they just turned him away. They were like, whatever, man, just go. He ended up being a millionaire, and they lost out on a huge opportunity. And the moral of the story there is to have a level of detachment at the same time. Like, always stay true to your earliest intention, which was to create something meaningful or something like that, you know? And when all the good stuff comes in, appreciate it, but have a little bit of detachment. Like, don't get so... You know, recognize that you have an opportunity, but don't turn it into an obsession.
No, definitely. I think I'll calm down soon, but you know what it is? It's like the early stage. I've released something. I've done a little bit of like TikTok stuff, but I haven't done no major promo on it. And to see it's reaching people that I don't know how, like, is interesting me, because I want to go into the background of it and see where these people are coming from, because I'm getting, well, it's still early days, but like I'm going to have to get to that stage where it's now investment time, like putting money behind this now, but I need to know that I'm putting my money in the right place. Like, if they're all coming from, I don't know, a specific platform, then it's time for me to invest money in behind that platform if they're from a certain area, etc., etc. So it's the gathering data side of it now that's kind of like got me consumed more than just the actual comment itself.
Yeah.
The comments are nice, like.
That's so fun. I'm gonna look at it later.
But it's just like, yeah. But yeah, anyway. So that's why my energy's like very
buzzing right now.
Yeah, but very drained at the same time. More drained than when I'm just working.
Maybe give it a week, collect the data.
Yeah, that's the plan. Give it 7 days out without like just organic traffic.
I'm so glad. When I saw it like a month ago, I was like, I can't wait for this to drop.
It's been a long time coming. But
and it's only last episode that you were talking about like, oh, how do you know when it's time to like just kind of, paraphrasing here, but you know what I mean, call it quits, or know if you're wasting your time.
Yeah, it's crazy how life works, but I mean, you know, I wasn't ready to
receive it yet.
I mean, I don't know, you know, I wasn't like, it wasn't a now or never moment for me, but I still feel like I'm not in a now or never moment, but I still have an element of that, if that makes sense. Like,
I was just gonna say, like, don't feel like, oh my god, it's suddenly happening, so I need to hang on to it because it's gonna be taken from me. Because then you're in this energy of like chasing, which means whatever you're chasing is running. It has to be like, I knew it was gonna be time is time.
Yeah, 100%. I don't think I said this. I don't think I've posted it yet. Actually, no, I haven't. But I recorded something and I basically said like, if you're actively doing something and you genuinely don't feel that your time is gonna come in what you're doing, then you're basically wasting your time. Like I feel like you need to have a belief level that what you're doing will pay off eventually, whenever it happens. And like, we don't have control over the timing of when it does happen. But if you genuinely don't think that your time's gonna come in what you're doing, then you're just wasting your time, right? So that's how I feel. Like, I'm not chasing it like as in I need it right now, because I can't control the timing of it. But I genuinely believe that it can happen for me and it should happen for me. But if I stop, then it will never happen, right? But at the same time, there comes a point where I feel like within myself, I might have to pivot onto something else, because there's only so long you can do certain things, I feel like.
What makes you feel that way?
It's just the nature of the market. Sometimes you have to be realistic. Don't get me wrong, there's anomalies. I can't even say the word. Anomalies in every market right now.
After Fable,
in every aspect of life, there will be that, right? And there's always going to be those moments that nobody sees, freak moments. But yeah, that's why it can be you, but realism kicks in at some point as well. You have to
what's real?
No, in terms of like priorities might change. Doesn't mean you stop doing what you're doing, but it doesn't sit at the forefront as much as it once did or whatever. But I'm not at that stage yet, so I don't even know how that feels like, to be honest.
Yeah, you know what? Like, what I'm sensing, and I could be wrong here, but what I'm sensing is that you're kind of like creating a little safety net around you a little bit, just in case what you want to happen for you doesn't happen. And simultaneous to that, like, I think you're doing the right thing with the data thing, and this is where your business acumen comes into play in a good way. But also, if something is meant for you like that, you can't control it. Don't feel like it's your fault or your responsibility. Do you not like put that pressure on yourself that I'm the one who's going to make this happen and I'm the one who's not. It is a fact that hard work got everyone there, but it's not a fact that we know who's going to get there or not. Definite.
I think it's just the added, not pressure, but the added responsibility of like, I don't have a team, so it's all me. So I've got no choice but to look at everything, where realistically, I shouldn't have to. I should have a team that can jump on board, not even just do it for me, but like.
You know what, Darren? Seriously, 6 months from now, you could have a team. You know what I mean? Anything could change at any time. I feel like that's my issue sometimes with like not creating properly, because I'm in such a rush to put something out. Like, I'm just like, I want to put something out, like I need to be out and behind and blah blah blah, instead of like nurturing the creativity beforehand, because you've got to do that part, especially when you know that you're like, what you do could really be something.
Literally, that's the part that like not burns, but it's like that's the part that is that keeps the desire there. But at the same time, it hurts when it's not hitting yet, because you know that the levels of what you produce, it should be undeniable, but there's obviously factors that's don't know.
I have so many questions, so many follow-ups from. So, what do you mean undeniable, first of all?
Like, it should be undeniable in terms of there's an undeniable quality level, there's an undeniable authenticity behind it. There's just all of these things that can't be questioned to me. Like, don't get me wrong, no, but not everybody's gonna like what you do.
Yeah,
that's 100% true. But I feel like with a good ear and a good eye, you can't ignore what's happening. Like, you might not want to jump the gun at it. Like, if you're an outside person I'm talking about, you might not have any reason to support it or to get involved in it. But I just don't think like you can see it and just be like, what is this? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't think, yeah. And then there's just like it's so authentic. Like, there's nothing fake about what you're seeing. There's nothing unrealistic about what you're hearing. It's like, how can you, and it's not a poor quality. So it's like, to me, those are like the three main factors when I'm looking at something new. I know, I know not everybody's mind works the same way. That's why I said it's never going to appeal to everyone, but it's just like, I don't know. It's just about getting it in front of the right people.
It will get in front of the right people. You just need to keep doing what you're doing.
I just look at it, it's so crazy. In London alone, there's so many people in London. London's overpopulated, yeah? And it's like, you just need a small fraction of that to buy into what you're doing consistently, and you'll be okay. You don't need the whole of London. How many people are in London? Let's say 200,000.
Why are you downsizing your dreams?
No, I'm just saying, like, let's be realistic. The population of London.
Stop being realistic. That's what I say.
Look, we have to be realistic, though. You do
Why?
to some extent.
You have to be realistic when it comes to like what you said, like the data, the this, the that.
But that's what I'm talking about. There's like, let's say, let me see, the population of London.
I feel like with creativity, you gotta let it unfold like a fire. Like, you don't know how big and how far it's gonna get.
No, definitely. But I'm just trying to say, yeah, it's estimated 9.6 million people in London. I don't need 9.6 million people to buy into what I'm doing, which is my point. Like, I don't see how 10% of that don't buy into what I'm doing. That's how I know that it's possible, and I know it's out there for me, but it's just like maneuvering in a way to get 900,000 people or whatever, 90,000 people.
You have a really... The more you fixate on that, that's all you're going to get.
No, 100%. I'm not thinking about the figure, but I'm just saying.
You did Google it.
Because I just had to just double check what I was saying was accurate of the population of London. And that's London alone. But yeah.
Look, let whatever happens. You just keep making sure that you're doing what you're doing on your side.
That's all I can do.
And like, follow your gut instinct with things.
Mm.
You know? Like, you instinctively knew that this would be a good time to put out this song. Do you know what I mean? And it really is so in tune with like the season, the energy of this time. Like, it aligns with that. And that was a gut instinct. You could have put out any song at this time.
Yeah.
So you have a good gut instinct. Keep following your gut instinct with what to do next, and get out of your head with it. Like, your head is meant to help your gut instinct. You know what I mean? So you don't need to sit there. If you're asking yourself, how do I maneuver through this? You're already thinking too much. Just step by step. You'll know what the next step is. Just like with Alphawaves, like, we knew when it was time to get on TikTok. We knew when it was time to kind of just leave Instagram, focus on TikTok. It's all a gut instinct.
True. Very true.
Every time we sat down and really thought about it, I don't think anything really happened.
That's true. The addiction.
And look, in 1 month, we went from like however many followers to 100. Do you know what I mean? Just because in my head I was like, I just feel like we can do this. And that was a gut feeling. So, you know, enjoy it. Enjoy it. Oh my god, why can't you enjoy it?
No, I can enjoy it. I can enjoy it. I will enjoy it. I am enjoying it.
It's so mad because it just ties in with like another thing that I wanted to talk about, that topic about like when you're receiving your blessings. Like, that's kind of how I was feeling. It was like, okay, it's here, don't back it up, like, get it going, blah blah blah, game time. I just need to keep doing what I was already doing.
I've never felt like this in a long while, you know. Like,
that kind of adrenaline and excitement.
yeah, there's a level of anxiety behind it as well, though. Strange.
Where do you think that comes from?
Because it actually, without saying it too loudly, it feels like it's really happening this time. And that's like,
Oh, I got goosebumps.
it's like, yeah, it's a strange feeling. But again, I guess that's where I need to just.
You know what? It is a strange feeling when you start feeling like that, like something that you was waiting for in any capacity is finally happening. You almost feel like a deer in headlights. Seriously, like you're just like, it's happening exactly as I imagined it, and I don't know how to react. And I don't know what the advice is for that.
It's crazy. It's just crazy. Like, literally, I don't know how to explain how I'm feeling right now. It's just like things that are happening now.
I feel kind of numb, like not even super gassed, just kind of like what's
Yeah, there's not like an excitement in where I'm just like
the joy. It's because it's still not certain. It's moving towards it. That's why.
It's just like
so
it's a good start. Normally I have to like, what's the word? You know, what's the word I'm thinking of? The phrase that I'm thinking of.
Well, you gotta give me more.
You know, like when you start in something, right? And you have to keep pouring more in for it to actually start moving. Yeah, but like right now, it's like everything that I've done in the build up to it was that, and like once I let it go, it's actually started moving. It's not stagnant. It's not had a full start. Like it's actually just ran. It hasn't won the race yet. It's not winning, but it's just
running.
Yeah.
So now you're like, oh shit.
Now I need to.
Moving. Like, where's it gonna go? Oh.
So now it's like I'm at the point where by now I would have had to already done the investment to get things moving a bit faster, but it's already moving. So the investment should like take it from here to here, but I just need to make sure that I put the investment in the right places, which is where it gets a bit. Yeah. But anyway. Yeah. I'm glad that I've just had time to focus on. I haven't had time to focus on it because it's half term and
some shit happened while you weren't even there.
I forget work. I'll just be in the home life. Like, it was my son's birthday on Monday.
How's he gonna be 5?
No, it was his birthday.
Oh, it was.
Yeah. No, he turned 4. So it's not like I've had an easy week. It's just been. It's been a lot.
Tortured.
It's just been eventful.
Not even like, oh, fun celebration.
It's been eventful, but so I haven't really had time, but yeah, it's been good anyway. But anyway, I just remembered we haven't got much time.
Yeah, and the one day he said hard 9, we're like, you know what? Let's talk about everything.
It's fine though, because our episodes are only meant to be an hour anyway.
Yeah,
so.
Exactly. Yeah. I feel like this was an episode.
It was slightly.
But it's too private. But
yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah. It's like weird because you want to remind yourself that you are deserving of these things because you worked for them, like you did the work, you deserve them. But because you waited so long, like you had to wait for so long, you're just like, is this really going to be it? Because I don't want to get excited if it's
not. Yeah.
And then you mentally prepare yourself for it not. But then you can't help but be like, no, but it's happening.
And I don't want to give myself no negative thoughts.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to tell myself this isn't it, because then it won't be it.
Exactly.
Like, I genuinely believe that this is it. What it is, I don't know. I don't know if it's like, I don't know what it is, but I know it's something.
And you know that at this point, if whatever it is real.
Yeah. And it's already an improvement on how I felt. Yeah, I don't know. It's something. Like I said, I don't know what it is, but it is something, which is a good feeling. But
I like that. I don't know what it is, but it is something.
So.
That makes me really happy.
Yeah.
That is so exciting, Darren. Seriously.
It's mad.
It actually is so exciting.
It's mad. It's actually mad. Like, do you know what's helped as well? Yeah. There's like a young kid that we hired at work. But like, I don't know, he reminds me of me, yeah. But at 21, I weren't doing what he's doing right now, basically. Yeah. So, but even just little
That's so mad.
young, innit?
But what's so mad about thinking about 21 being young is just knowing that I'm so not 21.
Right. But like, when I'm having conversations with him, he's giving me a younger person's perspective on stuff, and it's just like, it's kind of rejuvenated my energy. Yeah. Even with the release, like I told him that I was going to be doing, he was like, oh, so what are you doing next, etc., etc. Told him that I was going to be putting something out at the start of April. There was like a, all right. But it weren't like a, yeah, like it was like, that's how I took it. I know that's not how you meant it, because even one time when I said something, he was like,
just waiting to see it.
Yeah, the when it,
that's how I take it.
so when it actually happened, and then he was like, oh, so what's going on with it? I was like, yeah, no, it's coming out, whatever. He was like, oh yeah, he was actually all right. And then like he asked me for the thing today, the link for it or whatever. I think it's just that younger energy around this this aspect of my life that I kind of needed.
Yeah. To remind you why you're doing what you're doing, who's hearing your stuff. And also, I love the Gen Z energy. They've just been through it, and they're making everyone else go through it with them. Like, I just admire their resolve. I really do.
No, definitely. Like, I've always been a go-getter in some aspects, right? But their energy is just like, literally, like,
it's crazy. Like, I love it. It's even like with my younger siblings, they're 17, and they just inspire me so much, just with the way they are, the way they think, like the way that generation is.
But I get it though, because a lot of the obstacles that we had are not there for them anymore.
Yeah.
So they're able to look at things from a broader angle that you might not see straight away. But once they say it, you see it, and you're like, oh yeah, those doors are actually open now. Those same doors that I used to be thinking that I still have to fight against, they're actually open, so I don't need to fight against it.
Realize, like how much there isn't here to carry anymore in certain aspects. But also, I feel like they're the voices that millennials didn't really get to use sometimes as well. Just like with tangibly changing stuff or highlighting things, or
the world wasn't open for us at that point. Like we was
exactly.
literally fighting for it to be open.
But what's so nice though is I feel like when we were growing up, there was this whole thing about boomers or whatever, like fights between generations or misunderstanding, and I don't feel like it's like that with the millennials and the Gen Z.
No, we're basically together.
Yeah, which is so nice.
Because a lot of us, not us in this room, but a lot of the millennials.
Be very careful with what you're
I was going to say a lot of the millennials are parents to some of these Gen Z.
Yeah. Exactly.
So that's also had an impact.
Exactly.
There's not as much.
Which is great, like just changing everything.
It's crazy.
Sometimes the world is so crazy to me in a horrific way. And then other times it's just so crazy to me in a really like things are changing way.
Yeah, man.
And it was special.
There's a lot going on. There's a lot. And a lot of it's fed into even into the podcast world of just I don't know. That's another conversation for another time anyway. Let's just segue into this. So
we're back from a short break.
I think we probably should do an intro at this point. It's been a off the cuff type of episode.
Yes, it has.
But the subject for today was about like receiving, like dealing with receiving blessings. Would you say?
Yeah. So I was thinking about this. I was thinking sometimes you can want something for a long time, put in all the work into being the person who can receive those things. So it really surprised me when my blessings were coming in, and I just felt weird about it. Like I didn't feel happy, I didn't feel sad, maybe part of me felt scared, but I just felt in shock, like numb, like it's really real. And then it made me think, like, what I'm having to unravel here now is feeling like I really do deserve it. This could be real.
Do you think there's a level of expectation of how it's meant to feel?
That's a good question. I don't know, if there's a level of expectation of how it's meant to feel. I feel like what's so different is no longer feeling longing and actively having to drop that and move into accepting and receiving what's coming towards you.
What do you think the hardest part of receiving it is, though? Is it the fact that you know that there's going to be an element of change once you've received what you've been waiting for?
You know what? That is part of it. Then you're like, okay, like things are actively, tangibly moving around me, like there's space being made for this and I have to play a part in that. But I think the hardest thing for me is trust, like trusting that, okay, this is a good thing or a good person or a good opportunity in my life.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's hard, like when you're just waiting for the other shoe to drop as well.
That's a new phrase that I've never heard in my life,
Really?
The other shoe to drop.
Really?
Never heard that one before.
Just waiting for the other shoe to drop.
But yeah, no, there is a balance that does lie behind it. And it's finding that balance, I think, is almost... It's difficult to prepare yourself for that. Because, like I said, you have a way in your mind where how you feel it's going to feel once it does happen. But when it actually does happen, it's almost like... A lot of the time it feels different. And then there's balancing out what you expected to what you've actually received. And then living in it.
What's the difference?
So, imagine you've expected it to feel a certain way. You've received it, it feels a total different way. That could almost mess up your mind slightly. It's like I'm just speaking from experience, right? So there's been things.
What's the tangible difference? Like, how did you expect to feel and how did you actually feel?
So there's things that I thought that once I received it, it will make me feel so...
Like the king.
No, just like, I thought it would be like an element of relief, like, finally, I've got it. Yes. And then I've got it, and it's like, I'm happy that I've got it. There's that relief of getting it, but now there's an extra layer of keeping it. Like, do you know what I mean? I think someone said this to me one time as well. Everybody gets their turn in life, but it's about how long you can keep it for. And there's that element of it that kind of sits with me when I receive certain things that I've been working for a while. Like, this is my turn to get what I wanted out of life, but how long can I keep this run going for? And then that's the bit that kind of sits with me sometimes.
I don't know. I have a problem with that because I feel like, not a problem.
Whoa.
That's too unfiltered. I have like...
No, I get what you're saying.
I have a slight thing with that because I feel like it's definitely true. You can sabotage your own opportunities. That's a fact. I have seen it. I've done it. I know it's true. You can.
Yeah.
This is a real thing. You can do that. But I also feel like when it's your time and when you've put in the work behind the scenes, not just even like the work, but even like the underlayer of work in terms of the inner work, the stuff that you have to do, getting yourself in the mindset to receive something as well. I feel like if there's something that's truly deserving and you've worked hard to get it, it's yours to keep, you know? And I don't like that phrasing of it's how long you can keep it, because to me it sounds like, again, like waiting for the other shoe to drop, like you're just waiting for something to be taken from you, so you have to hoard it almost. And that doesn't sound like an abundant energy to me.
No, definitely. I get what you're saying from that element of it. I think it's more to do with like how I interpret it anyway. It's like more to do with your preparation and mindset of getting something and not being complacent. Like still staying on your job, still don't feel like you've got something and that's it. Like
I'm in the door.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how I kind of use it more than.
And I feel like that complacency is the self-sabotage. Because self-sabotage could also be arrogance.
100%.
There's so many ways you can sabotage your stuff.
100%.
almost just feeling undeserving of it, or feeling scared of it being real. Like there's also that ego can come into play as well.
Yeah. In what sense?
Just thinking like, I'm too good for this, like there's more I can do, and there's a difference between that energy and there's never going to be a glass ceiling for me because I want to continue evolving. But to continue evolving, you have to continue being an active player in what you're doing.
Do you believe in glass ceilings?
No, I had to think about it because there's many layers. I believe that anything is believable. Like if you believe in a glass ceiling, you'll have one. If you believe that someone else can put a glass ceiling over you, you can have one. That doesn't mean that every avenue is easy, but if you truly believe that life can be limitless, then it will be.
Yeah.
But also believing that life can be limitless, it's a hard belief to hold sometimes.
Do you think so?
Yeah, like I said, like when some of my blessings were coming in, I was just shocked because it was just struggle city for a long time. And also when you're in that place, like in that strugglesome place, not every day is going to be a winning day. Like
definitely.
With grace. So in your head, you're not remembering the moments where you did push through and that you are human. Like you are remembering, like, did I really work that hard? Am I really deserving of this? When you have this more.
Yeah, I get that. But I guess the thing that you kind of have to look at is yourself. Like, what have you been doing during those times? Did you keep it going? Did you just stop? Like, I said something the other day. I can't remember who it was to. How highly do you rate your decision making? Yeah. And I said, if you look at your life, that will give you your answer. And I think it's very true. Like, because even in those struggle moments or whatever, the decisions you make leads on to whether or not you do receive what you want, I feel. And it's like,
it's very hard to disagree with
that. It's a heavy thing to put on someone because there's a lot of accountability behind that.
Yeah.
But it is.
I feel like I'm not even ready for the convo to move. I need to hear it again.
It is something that I had to deal with myself. Like, I feel like I've got the knack for making great decisions, but then I had to sit down and think to myself, if I was so great at decision making, let me look at my life across the span of my life. When was the points where I wasn't as good at decision making? When were the points that I was? And I noticed a tangible difference. Like, a lot of my bad decisions was maybe when I didn't know any better. And then it became a case of like, a lot of the good decisions that I did make, even in my bad moments, have led to me receiving these blessings. That's why when these blessings do come, I feel a bit different about it.
I love that so much because I never considered that before, first of all. And secondly, when you look back at the span of your life, like, when was I making good decisions? When was I making bad decisions? It forces you to, because you're having this bird's eye view over yourself already. So you're not just looking at yourself, you're looking at like, who was around you, what influenced you, what were you doing, like, where did these bad decisions come from aside from just being too young? So yeah, like even now I'm already on a journey, just like looking back and I'm like, yes, I can definitely see what influenced what. I feel like that kind of thinking is so good because it takes you out of a moment that you're in here and now when you're feeling a bit stuck or a bit in a loop with yourself, and it takes you out to think, okay, it's just as simple as decision making.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, it still carries weight, of how important decision making is. Decision
making is not easy, especially in the heat of the moment. Yeah. It's like you have to have so much level of control over so many aspects of your life to make the right decision. But that's like what leads on to you receiving a lot of what you want out of life is the decisions you make. You can't keep making bad decisions and then want something great to come out of it. Yeah. But I just don't know. Like,
one thing I've said about that as well, especially especially when it comes to interacting with people, is you have to face each moment. You know what I mean? Like, you can't have it in your head like, okay, say if you're having a say if someone's done something to irritate you or annoy you, you have to choose how you best want to deal with that there and then, because this is the opportunity to amend your behavior, and whatever you decide to do that's different is going to be uncomfortable, and it might not even necessarily be right, but it will get better and better each time. The more you say to yourself, I'll do it next time, or the next time something like this happens, I'm going to do that, you'll just do the same thing the next time. You have to bite the bullet at some point.
Yeah, but it's easier said than done, I guess. You don't think so?
You know what? I'm just not willing to hear that, because it was definitely so much easier said than done. But I had to do it. Do you know what I mean? And the more you tell yourself with certain things like that, like moment by moment, and that doesn't mean I did that across all areas of my life either. Like, there's certain parts that are a lot harder than others, where, you know, you are going to have to try next time. But especially with interacting with people, because I don't know, I feel like words, you just can't ever take them back, you know? Or even your silence, you can't ever fill it with something moments later. So, and that's one of the hardest things to do. That's so much easier said than done, because you can't control other people. You don't know.
Yeah, of course.
And it used to be so hard for me to speak up and say things, and likewise hold back when I was really feeling an emotion. And I had to really force myself to do it in that moment. And it's become so much easier now. Like, I don't get as anxious or as spun dealing with those things than I used to. I feel like a much different person.
And is the end result 9 times out of 10 what you would want from that situation?
Yeah, because you have better quality people around you. You have stronger, deeper connections. You know how to handle newer connections better. You get more fruitful things from it. So you don't live out of ego so much. It's so worth it. So that's why with certain things, you know, it's just not enough to say it's easier said than done.
Yeah,
you have to do it at some point.
You have to, yeah, it's true.
Next time, you'll always get a next time, and the more you say it, the more you'll get them.
That's very true. But that comes back to accountability, right? Like we always say, I think that's like the theme of of Alphawaves is this accountability. To be fair, but I mean that's a good example, because it's even small things like that that kind of reflect what we're saying in terms of you doing certain things to receive something. Like, it might not even be intentional that you're doing it to receive anything, but you are receiving the outcome that you would want out of that situation by doing what you do. And it's getting control over that side of it helps with receiving it. But obviously we can't control when we receive what we're pursuing, right? How do you deal with the time constraints and the challenge of waiting things out when you're not receiving it in the moments that you want?
There's a real duality with that. It's really hard bouncing between the two. So there'll be some moments that I'll definitely hate it and really not handle it super well. But the breakdowns are so necessary sometimes. You just need them.
You mean personal breakdowns?
Of any kind.
I wanted to be careful what I was nodding for. No, fair.
It's hard. Like, it's so hard when, you know, I'm trying to think of an example, but it's hard when you're waiting for something to change and it's just not changing. And the longer it gets, the more you do lose hope. It's really hard. But then another part that gets me through those moments is just coming back to things like divine timing, trusting what I do not know, you know, trusting that, okay, maybe there is something better coming for me, or maybe this isn't as good as I thought it was going to be. That's why it's missed me, because it's just not for me. Maybe it might even harm me. So you have to accept that. Like, you have to believe in these these multiple different timelines and things that could happen to give you a sense of peace, because you can't just break down the whole time.
Do you ever hang on to things that don't come your way?
No, I actually don't.
That's good.
Yeah, I really don't. I find a lot of peace with that because, one, I recognize that would I even still want that thing or that person now? Like, I've changed, and so have they. So has that. And two, something better and more aligned to me has always come around. Always. And it happens for everyone. You know, it really does.
Did you have to go through that to kind of believe it?
Yeah, like, it's not something you just know. Like, you have to see it, I feel, for that to... And actively see it. Like, you can ignore your blessings as well if you're too focused on everything that goes wrong. That can happen sometimes. I've seen that happen to people where they're just counting every bad thing and more comes their way. You have to actively count your blessings to get more, I feel.
I think that's because they're in a cycle where they're expecting more things to come, and then it does.
And what you said as well, like looking at yourself, being accountable, because one thing's for sure in my moments of waiting is I was never a sitting duck at the same time, you know. I was always trying something different or listening to my gut instinct and thinking, okay, am I swimming against the current now? Like, an example that I like to use for that is during COVID times, those crazy times when I wasn't working and I kept trying to get a job in the field that I'd done before, couldn't find any. There was no feedback even. It was just like, oh, we just found someone with more experience because everyone's out of a job now, so there's more experienced people out here. And then I had to really stop, and I was like, I've had like 11 interviews this month, gotten none of them, so I must be swimming against a current here. And it's when I took a step back and I was like, firstly, I just need a breakdown moment, I need a breather, so I'm going to look for a job for a minute and just take a second. And then that's when I started thinking about other things that I could do, and then I started working in a whole new industry and field, and that was really rewarding for that moment. So yeah, like, you can't really just...
You see, when you took that step back, yeah, did at any point it feel like you was giving up?
No, because I knew I was taking a step back. Like, I wasn't like... And you also, there's been moments where I felt like I was giving up. You know the difference, you know.
How do you pull yourself back up when you feel like you're giving up, but you know something's still for you?
As in, like, working towards a particular...
Yeah, say if you've got a goal in mind, it's not going the way you want, so you start to feel like you're giving up. How do you pull yourself back on track when you know that what you're going for is actually for you?
So there's two things. One, you have to raise your vibration, you know. When you are in that loop where you feel like things aren't going your way, you do more things that are giving you a dopamine hit in the moment that aren't actually serving you, like eating more fast food or other things or whatever. You know, you get yourself in a little bit of a cycle. So you have to look around you at what's going on and what's making you feel the way that you feel. Like, why is it so much harder to hold that vision now? So you have to do whatever makes you feel a better version of you. And then the second thing is visualize. Think about what it is that you want. The more you think about what you don't want, the more you focus, what you focus on is in your field. So when you're thinking about, I don't want this, I don't want that, blah, 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 I need to stop this thing, that's the only thing in your reality. So you need to step back and think about what you do want. Like, what's the vision? What's the end goal? Or what's even like the first milestone that you want to hit? And just try and get some of that motivation. Like, even a different example, like when I was out of work and I was thinking about being out of work, I started going online and looking at all the skincare products I wanted to buy and just adding them to my basket. And I was like, well, I need to buy this stuff, so I need a job. And it just motivated me more, you know. Like, I don't know why it works, but it just does.
No, it does. It can work. Let me not say it does. It can for some people.
Yeah, it can work.
Yeah. Yeah, you just got to find what works for you, I guess, and that's with everything in life, not even just in that example. But it's just the reason I asked that is because I feel like a lot of the time people can get in the way of themselves, and like you forget just asking for something. You're actively pursuing something, as in you're doing the work as well. But when it's not going your way soon enough,
you just give up. Which is such a shame because you don't know when you're going to turn that corner. Like you just don't. And it's so hard. Like that is one of those situations where I would say it's so much easier said than done. Because when it's something that you can't control, you can't see, no one's told you in your calendar, this is when things turn around. It is really, really hard. And you know what? One of my friends, she gave some really good advice with that kind of stuff. Like sometimes just take a day or two and just sulk. Just smoke. Just smoke whatever you want to smoke. Just don't shower. Like have those few cry. Like have those.
You say don't shower.
Whatever you feel.
Anyway, carry on.
2 days. It's not the you can shower twice on the third day. Whatever. It's hypothetical. Can you not?
I'm listening with my eyes closed.
Whatever you need to do to be a mess, give yourself 2 days to just be that mess.
Why 2 days? What's the significance around the 2 days?
So my friend says give yourself 2 days because maybe 1 day is not enough. Maybe you need 48 hours just to unravel a little bit. But you've got to stop after that, or even 3 days. But see, it's already happening because once you go past that 2 day mark, you're stuck there. Like you just get into a comfort zone, and you need to.
Yeah. Do you know why? This is not relation to right now, but it's like they say once is a try, twice is a habit, right? And I guess after that is when it really sticks.
Yeah. Like
so
it starts feeling too good, too comfortable, and then you kind of got two problems now, like your initial thing that was upsetting you and then pulling yourself out of that space. And I've been there too. Like I definitely got into a comfort zone and it is really hard.
Yeah.
To pull yourself out of it, you know.
It's just
prepared for good things coming your way.
You almost forget what your not purpose, but like you almost forget what you was actively going for before you got into this slump.
Yeah, it is a slump.
And it's like getting out of that slump it takes up so much energy and brain power that sometimes you can forget what your goal was before that.
It's so true.
And then you even just like, even in terms of like letting people into your life, there's a certain type of person that you might want in your life, but it can switch in those moments because now you just want someone that's gonna either enable you or like their purpose becomes totally different, but everything else that you want from somebody in your life doesn't reflect in this person. So I think you kind of have to be mindful as well of like not letting your guard down. Not even just with people, but I use people because that's like the most common thing that can come and go in your life is people. But how are you with like, I know for a fact because you're a human. There's a certain type of person that you would ideally like in your life. How patient are you with waiting for that type of person to enter your life? Is that too much of a heavy question? Is that too much of a loaded question?
What do you mean? What kind? Do you mean romantically?
Yeah.
Okay. So I was thinking of even like friendships.
I think friendships is a bit of a broader one and a bit more difficult to control because when you meet somebody, I mean, you can meet someone anywhere and they could eventually become a friend, right?
So I'm pretty patient with that now. Before, I was definitely the kind of person who had this outcome in mind. So whoever I'd interact with romantically, I'd be either vetting them to see if they fit that outcome or forcing them to fit that outcome and not actually see them for who they are or how they're affecting me. And then also thinking, oh my god, do they like me enough, instead of really considering whether I like them. I feel like now I'm treating romance in the same way that I would treat a friendship, like just giving someone the grace that I would give another human, you know?
Yeah.
Without a sense of like, and obviously it crops up here and there, like it's not, I am only human, but that sense of entitlement of how much they owe you and this, that and the other, and you know, even in sense of time, or even in terms of like their own growth and where they're at. So I feel like I've become a lot more patient with it. And also, yeah, there's kind of two factors. So just to finish off what I was saying about the friend thing, like with all of my most significant friendships, it didn't start how it is now. You've got to give things time to grow.
Yeah.
Leave room for the element of surprise. Like, you don't always know who someone's going to end up being to you.
I feel like that's easier done with friendships than romantic.
It is. But as with what we said earlier, you have to do it now. Like with the person you're currently talking to, like let things unfold. You know, it's like what you said earlier, like you don't know what it is, but it could be something. So just kind of bearing that in mind, because I don't know, I just feel like you can't put pressure on someone like that, and you can't put pressure on yourself either. You know, like how often do we ask ourselves, like, are you ready for that? You know? Like, are you ready for that romantic person? Are you the person that you want to have like that?
Do you see it as a blessing though?
What do you mean?
Like if somebody does come in that kind of fits exactly what you wanted and you fit what they want, do you think that's a blessing or just good
Decision making?
Yeah.
No, it's definitely a blessing. Like it's such a blessing to, you know, speak to someone that just makes you feel good, or like that you have stuff in common with, or to be experiencing things that you didn't really plan or expect to experience. Like it is a blessing. Even like with other people in your life, you know, they are blessings.
Yeah, I feel like obviously I feel like when you're meeting new people, it's difficult to describe it as a blessing or not, right? It's only once you've built up.
You don't know at that point.
Exactly, right? It's only once you built up a long enough rapport and relationship with them. But I feel like there's some friends and family in your life that, again, maybe it does come down to time span and experience and stuff, that you can look at them and you can just say they are actually a blessing to your life, right?
Yeah, you know what? It's making me feel so warm now, even thinking about it. Like some of my friends, and sometimes like when you're just in a moment where you really, really need them, or not even that, like when you just have a really fun conversation or whatever, or just experience all this joy and just think about like, wow, you know, I can't believe I have this kind of a friendship in my life. It is such a blessing.
But it's crazy because I feel like my friendships haven't come with that level of like scrutiny where I'm thinking this is the type of person that I want to be my friend, this, that, the other. It's kind of developed into that. And the only thing that we kind of share, that I share with a lot of my friends, is like moral standpoints.
Yeah.
Outside of that, the characteristics and that, there's not like a ABC factor type thing. Whereas somebody that you're romantically involved with, there will be a little bit more pinpointing characters and stuff. Yeah, values, like.
And how they make you feel. That's important because it is going to be different, because romantically this is someone you're going to have kids with, that's what you want, build a life with, live with. So there is a different thing that you're looking for there, I guess, that you wouldn't necessarily look for in a friendship.
I think we've all got friends that you just look at and you'll be like, I love you as my friend, but if it was anything more, we would.
How would it be if we actually, like, what would that be like? It's just different,
Yeah,
you know?
so
Yeah.
it's harder to look at it as a blessing when it's like that. But I mean, it is a case of you receiving something that you want in life, so you do have to treat it as such.
Do you think you can plan on when you receive these things though? Like, plan in your life, I'm gonna...
You can plan it to an extent, but just I feel like it's a dangerous game trying to plan it to a T.
Yeah.
Because number one, you could be preventing things from happening for you a lot earlier. or a lot later than when it's meant to.
Yeah, when you're ready for it.
Literally. And I don't know, there'll be an element of it that does feel manufactured.
Yeah.
But it's not always a bad thing. Sometimes it works out for your benefit. Sometimes it doesn't. Like, an example would be like somebody that wants to have kids, right? But they say that they want to be in a specific place in their life before they have kids and etc. Sometimes that does happen how you planned it. Like, you don't put yourself in a position where you can have a child before you're in that position that you want to be in. You get in that position, you have a kid, cool. But there may have been an opportunity for you to do this differently.
Yeah.
In the way that it could have played out even better for you, but you will never know. So it's all ifs, buts, and maybes, right?
Yeah.
You just kind of make your decision and go along with it.
It's true.
There's a lot of people that make decisions and you just have to live with it, unfortunately or fortunately. There's no point questioning it. Once you plan it, you plan it. But yeah. I mean, it's tricky. It's very tricky.
It is tricky, like, especially romantically as well. I feel like there's so many more fears that come around that of, like, trust or, you know, just... Well, yeah, just... yeah.
No, definitely. I mean, even on that, like, I had a plan. Right? That I would have to know somebody for X amount of years before I even thought about family building, right?
Yeah.
But then I got to a stage in my life where things was happening and I even forgot about that plan.
But just in your life.
Yeah. But when I look back on reflection, it's actually happened to how I planned it. Like the amount of years, etc., etc.
Yeah.
So sometimes you can just have your plan and leave it to the universe for it to happen in the most
I love that. That's detachment, you know.
Yeah.
Like, it does happen that way sometimes. Like,
but there's circumstances that make it happen. Like, if I was actively, if other things weren't happening in my life, maybe I would have still had that focus. But because I put it out there, other stuff took precedence in my life. Like, that just kind of went out the window. And it's only upon reflection I'm like, oh yeah, I did say that.
The way you wanted it to.
Yeah.
I feel like that's a good way to go about it, like to set your intention and put it out in the universe, because when you're actively trying to make things happen, I don't know if the best decision making comes from that, because sometimes it can be fear based with trying so hard to not get it wrong, or sometimes thinking no, I need to get, say for instance, my work done first and then get into a relationship. But how do you know that that relationship isn't going to inspire you or strengthen you?
You don't know. But that's why I say, like, for me personally, I feel like a lot of it happens, I say by accident, as in I'm not intentionally putting it out to the universe with the thoughts of I'm just going to leave it out there. But things happen, right? And this kind of makes it that way.
Yeah.
And to me that's accidental, but to whatever your beliefs are in has made it that way, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, it's a balancing act, and you just kind of got to do what you feel works best for you.
Yeah, in that moment, and what feels right, and not rush yourself or force yourself to wait.
As long as you're not doing anything forceful, always say that. Right. As long as you can sleep at night and don't feel like you're being forced to do something.
Yeah. Even if it's forcing yourself to hold back.
I think that's the best way to look at it.
Yeah.
But receiving your blessings is always going to be a
challenge.
Challenge, yeah.
Because you just don't realise how scared you are, like, when they come in. Like, I don't know.
There is that element of fear, though. Like, you've got this now. What next? Like,
it feels like you're holding a golden egg made out of crystal, and any drop is just going to have it all crashing down. Yeah.
Especially if you worked so long for it or worked your way up to it. It doesn't even matter about length of time. It's just like where you started to where you are.
Yeah.
There's a bit of a delicate nature to it. You try and protect, but the same way it came is the same way you just got to live with it.
Yeah, like, we forget that when this blessing comes, it's like, okay, what do I do? But it was the same you 2 seconds ago who got it before you even realised you had it, so...
It's all the work you do when you're not expecting it.
Yeah.
You just got to kind of maintain that.
The element of surprise.
Yeah. But it shouldn't be a surprise, though, because it doesn't happen by accident.
Yeah.
Like,
So, words of advice. What is even our topic? Because it's been such a
It's been an
off the cuff
conversation, like the good old days.
Oh.
That's crazy.
Those were off the cuff, like.
It's actually crazy. Yeah.
I wish I could hear one of those episodes back, just to see what we even spoke about.
To be fair, unofficially, this is like our phone conversations, to be fair.
It's so
There's
true.
no difference.
Literally, it's a how's your week been, and then press record.
There's no difference. No difference.
This is such an off the cuff episode to even be talking about on the episode.
For real.
Alright, so word of advice. Oh.
I don't even know, you know. This one's
Same.
so difficult.
Just
to
advise
pinpoint.
yourself, man. I don't know. I'm joking. I'm still working it out. It's hard. It's really hard.
I mean, yeah, like.
I think when your blessings start coming in, the word of advice I would give. Sorry, was you giving one?
No, I was still thinking it through.
Okay,
So you saved me.
it came to me like a light bulb moment. But yeah, in those moments, just as before, you were just working towards it and taking things moment by moment. Still keep doing that. I feel. Don't suddenly think. Yeah, like. Still keep allowing yourself to watch things unfold.
Yeah, just maintain. Don't get complacent. Don't get overwhelmed. Remain yourself.
And don't be afraid to change yourself. You know, like sometimes, and also don't be afraid to. Don't force yourself to be extreme with your changes either. Like, just as naturally and unexpectedly this has rolled in, everything else will naturally make room for this, if this is what is for you.
100%. Yeah. I mean, I kind of contributed to your word of advice, so I haven't got anything separate.
This was a joint venture,
I
so
haven't got anything separate for that one. But yeah, no, that's been a interesting conversation on everything that
on
we
whatever
spoke
we
about.
talked about today. We don't know. We don't know.
Nah, this has been one of those episodes, but always good to be in conversation.
Yeah.
But yeah, on that note, thank you for joining us for another episode
Yes.
of the Alphawaves podcast. Follow us on our TikTok, Alphawaves. It's not on there, but this symbol is what you will see if you're wondering what I'm doing there. And until next time.
Until next time. Goodbye and good day.